Hi, it's Malcolm here, and in this video I am going to show you how you can turn just 50p stakes into stakes of over £100. And the best of it, you just need to hit 28 easy targets in order to make it happen. And I will share with you one method that I'm using right now that could be used to hit those targets. And if you stay to the end, there's a free gift for you. Here we go! Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you exactly how we can go from 50 pence to 100. And then we'll have a look at an idea, and then hopefully we get to the free gift at the end that you can go and get and have a look at. But basically, we're going to start with the free spreadsheet. Now, I'm obviously going to be looking at the screen, not the video camera. So excuse me if I'm looking over that way and not at you, but I will try to remember to turn back and look at you from time to time. But please look at the screen of the spreadsheet and we'll go from there. So this is what I call my trade target profit spreadsheet. It comes free with most of my products, and there are actually some products built around the whole idea, and I'll give you a link to them in the description, or there'll be one below where I'm talking now. So basically this spreadsheet allows you to set up a plan for trading. So if you start with like 50 pence or £1 or £10 or £100, you can tell it where you're starting, and then it will give you the moves to get to where you want to be. So you can basically build up this picture of what it's going to take you to go from like in this case 50p stakes to £100 stakes, and how many targets you're going to have to hit along the line in order to get to that. Now, I always believe in planning. What you need to do when you're trading or betting or anything like that, you need to have a plan, something to follow. Then you try to execute bets or trades on that plan, and then you analyze what you've done and see if you've missed it, done better, not done good at all, or whatever, and then you analyze that and go back and change something. It's that old saying, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. You really need to change how you're going. So I spend my kind of life showing people different ways of trading and betting on all types of sports in my daily newsletter, in my videos, that kind of thing, because I really want people to kind of see that you can do this stuff. It doesn't take a lot of profit to do it, but you still need to work these plans in order to get it. So I'm going to now go over to the spreadsheet and we can kind of go from there. So as you can see in the spreadsheet, the start date can be whenever. I've just left that start date as it is. Now we've got a start bank. In this case I've just put £100, which is kind of a figure most people stick to. Now I have got a short video explaining what points are, because people always talk about points, 1 point, and this. Basically a point is if you split your bank by 100. So if you have £100 and you split it by 100, you get £1, and that's a point for you. So if you see 10 points profit, times 10 by £1, and it's £10 for you. So if you see these big things going, oh, there's thousands of pounds profit, and then you see at the bottom it's only actually £10 points a month, you're not going to make thousands of pounds profit. You're only going to start off with £10, unless you use some kind of staking system, or whether you decide to go a bit silly and stake more than you should. So in this case, we're going to use 0.5% of the bank. So a lot of people, when backing, they go, oh yeah, you can use 10% of your bank, 5% of your bank. No, you can't. 1%, 2%, but 0.5% is really good. The problem is, if you use 10% of your bank, you only need a few losers and half your bank's gone. And then you're going to be running around like, oh no, and then you start making mistakes and doing silly things. The lower your stakes to start with, the better, because it gives you room to maneuver, it gives you room to make mistakes, and then you can grow from there. And I'm going to show you right now that it doesn't take a lot of growth to get to those big stakes, and it doesn't take a lot of compounding or anything else, but we'll come to that in a minute. So we are going to actually compound 25%. Now compounding is just adding from our winnings onto our next stake. There's a number of ways you can do this, but I like kind of doing it this way. And as we're backing, 25% is okay. You could go less. And sometimes I go more like 45%, but generally 25% is a good figure. Now I've put a target percentage, and you'll see what that means in a minute, at 90%. So on Betfair and most exchanges you pay a commission. Now you could say 95%, or I only pay 2% commission, and you can pay 2% commission on Betfair by going into your preferences, and there's a way that you can just say, no, I'm not going to take any promotions and only take 2% commission. And because I only bet on Betfair, I took the 2% commission because I wasn't worried about these sports incentives and all that. And the target profit can be whatever you want, but you might as well try and double your bank at first. That seems like a good target. This is auto over here, and when you see, if you get your hands on a spreadsheet, I explain all that. It doesn't really matter in this video, but I'm going to show you what it means. So if I just lift this up slightly, if we go to target plan, okay, sorry, I was just playing around with it before I come to you. So we've got 50p stakes. That's our starter stake. That's 0.5% of our bank. We've got 90%. So if we make 45p, then we're happy and we've met one target. Now you noticed I put targets here. I haven't put days. And of course, you could do this in days if you've got a good enough method for doing it. And one of the methods I'm going to show you, we've been managing to do that daily up to now, which is using the Dobbin method. But you know, it might not necessarily take a day to get to that target. It might take, sorry, I got even more of it. It might take one target. It might take, it might take 1 day. It could take 5 days, and it may even take you 10 days to get to one target. But you know, that doesn't really matter. Don't think about time as a problem. Most people have been betting for years and not made any profit. So, you know, a couple of months or 3 months or even a year to get to a certain amount of money is not a bad thing. So don't, you know, always try and rush. Forget the time thing and do as a target. And then that way you can see that these kind of things work out. So on the particular Dobb method, we try to go for, we call it stop at profit. So in other words, we stop. And there's a video which I'll put above here that you can link on. Or I'll put at the end of this video or in the description somewhere where I show you more about this Dobbin method that we're using at the moment. And we're in our second week of testing at the moment. And every day it's stopped in profit. Now I know variances, and I've already had comments about that, but this is a Dobbin method. It's not a win-lose. Well, it is a lose method, but it is a Dobbin method. We don't need the runner to win. We just need them to drop in prices in play. But that's just one kind of method you could use. You could trade your way to your full stake over a certain number of trades. There are lots of things you can do to get to what we call 1 point. If we class this as 1.50 pence, and we've made like 45 pence of it, so not quite 1 point per day. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 25% of that 45 pence and put it onto our next stake. So 50 becomes 61, 61 becomes 75, 75 becomes 92, and that's the kind of thing we're going to do. So we keep going down, and you may have seen this in other videos that I've done as well, because I really like this idea of looking at things, and it's a fairly simple plan. I think you'll agree. So here we go, and we're sort of working our way down every day. We're putting some of this money in the bank, because we want to put as much in the bank as well. So we're not using all of it. We're not even using 50% of it. We're only using 25%. So basically 75% of our profit stays in the bank. So it gives us some money to play with as we build the stakes up. And then as we come down, we get to 28 and we're at £119 stakes. Now, this is obviously a spreadsheet. I'm not showing you actually this in, you know, working, although it's only a spreadsheet, it's only calculations, and I do run it, and I've shown people me running it in my cash out trading FB group a number of times where I've easily gone by and doubled my stake and doubled it again just by using this kind of method. And I often play around with ideas to show people that you can do it. And at the moment I'm starting to run it on the Dobb method as well, so you know, gradually that's moving up. but we're running two methods together, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But if you ever read my newsletters, which again there's a link to in the description, then you'll understand what I'm basically talking about. But generally, you can run this on any idea. I mean, there are loads of things that you could possibly, if you run it on, maybe picking a football match where it's a home favourite, and there are odds of 2 or just under 2 or something like that. Home favourites win 70% of the time, so with a bit of selection method you could possibly choose one of those. That's one. I'm not a footballer, I don't get into football. There are plenty of ways you can look at a favourite on horse racing and pick a good one which has a good chance of winning and still has a price at over 2. So there's loads of ways you can do this on greyhounds. You could lay your way. If you do it with laying though, I would suggest you only use 10% compounding, because if you're laying, sorry about the dog, if you're laying, then obviously your liability goes up, and it's a slightly more difficult plan, but you could do that. Some people lay really well. There's loads of ideas you could do to get to these kind of profits, but what I'm trying to show you is that you don't need huge stakes. You don't need to start with hundreds of pounds to get to hundreds of pounds. You just need to start with 50 pence. There's no risk, there's no big problems, and that kind of thing. It's dead easy to do. So don't go for, I need 10 quid, I need £100 and all this kind of thing to start. You don't. You just need small stakes. You'll need a bit of a bank, because whenever you bet, you're going to have losing times, and you need to get over those losing times. And that's the idea of the bank, is not to give you big stakes, although a lot of traders will argue, especially if you're trading before the off, or possibly in play on football and tennis and that sort of thing, that you can use more of your bank because you need the money to be able to make the trades, and that's true, but that's talking about a completely different thing. But yeah, again, you might use more of your stake for that kind, more of your bank for that kind of thing. But if you're betting where straight bets, back lays or whatever, you need to look after your bank, and you need to use stakes that are very, very low, and then try different methods until you hit a method that's going to allow you to make 1 point, whether that's 1 point a day, 1 point a week. If you talked about this was only 1 point a week, it's a few months, but it's not much to get to a target. So now I want to show you one of our bots that we're using at the moment and show you what that's been doing, and how we've been using that to make profit every day. So let's switch over to that now. So this is our Dobbin bot, and basically, well, it's the grey horse bot. It's not just Dobbs, it does loads of different types of betting, but basically we've set it up with a link, and it looks at these selections every day, and it decides whether it can the right price or whatever, and it can dob them or not. So basically what it does is, if it hits the way I've got it actually set up is to hit I'll show you actually, just show you, is that if it hits just over what our stake is. So our stake's 63 pence. This is how we've been the first week of testing, we didn't put the stakes up at all. We were going to put them up in the second week, but we've been waiting to see if we can get past that 64 pence every day. If we stopped at any profit, we would have stopped every day for nearly 2 weeks now. So which is the way I may end up playing this. And I know, again, people will be arguing that variance will catch up with us and all that kind of thing, and it probably will, or it might do, I don't know. But the point is, we're just testing this. We're not saying this is a method people should use. It's just something I'm testing on one of our bots, on one of our servers, to see what's happening and then reporting it back to our users. So you can see the stakes are set to 63 pence. Now, they were originally set to 50 pence, but we put them up a little bit. So on that first day, on the 21st, 3rd, it would have stopped on the first day's profit. But because we're running to more than 1 point's profit, it actually got a loser, a couple of winners, and then it would have stopped again. So in fact, I think in this back to the 23rd, we were actually still running it where we were seeing what it would do every day. So we were running it across every selection. In fact, we might have done that a bit. You can see how long we've been running this bot. I'm just going to see if I can find out right. I think This was a day when we first started hitting the winners, so the 27th. We first started, if we got a full dob, so we could have stopped at the first winner, but we stopped at the second because that was over 1 point's profit. The next day, we would have stopped on the winner with 1 point's profit. I did put the stakes up then, but then we had a day where it went up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and we didn't actually make over 1 point's profit, but we lost about a couple of points at the end of the day. It wasn't a major amount. The next day, you can see what we would have, again, on the 29th, we would have won on the third race at stopping at one winner, or stop at any profit, but it took us another couple to stop with over 1 point. And that brings us up to today. Sorry, that is today. So that brings us up to today where we've actually made our profit again today, and we've stopped at your profit limit. So we're on the 29th now, and we're going to keep running this. But this is basically just a DOP method that we're using. I'll give you a link in the description and a link here where you can go and get some more information about Dobbin and this method that we're using, and then you can find out more about it. And that's kind of my free gift at the end of the video, is to show you, that you can go and get it. So I'll put the link. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found it interesting, please subscribe to the channel, because I do more and more videos like this. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment if you've got any comments about it, and as I said. Anyway, so yes, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.